Hello, lovely people. If you're on the bus, washing dishes, or lying in bed with your phone too close to your face, welcome back to English in Quiet.
And if you're folding laundry very slowly so it looks like a serious life plan, I respect you.
Honestly, same. Some evenings I want a whole new future, but I only have 10 tired minutes and one clean cup.
That is painfully accurate.
Today we're talking about dreams, goals, and small daily actions. So this episode will help your English and also your real life.
If you enjoy these calm talks, you can subscribe to English in Quiet and share this with a friend who is trying to change. Something without becoming dramatic about it.
And if you're around B1 or B2, stay with us. Some phrases may feel a little richer, but you do not need every word. Listen for the main idea and come back later if you want to hear it again.
Yes, no giant foggy lecture, just real words for real life.
Let's start with a familiar moment. You're at your desk or on your commute, and you think, I want more than this.
Not in a movie way, just in a quiet, tired, very human way.
Exactly. That feeling is often the beginning of a dream.
A dream like better health, a new job, a book, a business, better English, or just a calmer home.
Yes. And that matters. Dreams widen the future. They let you imagine a life that is different from the routine you have now.
But a dream is not a plan.
Right. A dream gives direction, not instructions.
It can tell you who you want to become, but not what to do on Tuesday at 4:40 p.m.
Exactly. You may dream of becoming a respected teacher or living with more freedom, or building financial stability.
But the dream itself does not say, okay, open this file, call this person, practice for 20 minutes.
Yes. And people often get stuck there. They protect the dream, but they never define what progress would actually look like.
Or they do the opposite. They make a very precise plan that feels emotionally empty.
Good phrase. Emotionally empty means it is clear on paper, but it does not feel alive inside you.
So motivation fades fast.
It does. Also, there is a difference between a dream and a fantasy.
Ah, yes. My fantasy self wakes up at 5, drinks water, stretches, writes a novel, learns a new language, and never checks the phone.
A fantasy loves the shiny result and refuses the long process. A real dream can survive effort, time, boredom, and limits.
Survive is a useful word. It means it can stay alive even after reality arrives.
Exactly. A person who dreams of publishing a novel may accept years of reading, drafting, revision, and rejection.
A fantasy says, I would like the book deal but not the awkward early pages.
Right. And sometimes the deeper meaning of the dream matters even more than the surface image.
Like if I say I dream of opening a cafe, maybe the deeper dream is not just coffee.
Maybe it is welcome. Maybe it is beauty. Maybe it is creating a place where people feel calm.
And if someone dreams of changing careers, maybe the deeper thing is useful work, or freedom, or self-respect.
Yes, when you understand the deeper meaning, you make better decisions later.
That word meaningful also fits here.
It does. Meaningful means important in a deep personal way, not just impressive to other people.
Not just something that looks good from the outside.
Exactly. And people often remember the big visible moment, like exam day, race day, or the day of a job offer.
But those spotlight moments usually sit on top of a lot of quiet preparation.
Yes, the dream gives meaning to the effort. Then, goals give shape to the effort.
Okay, let's move to goals, because this is where things stop floating in the air.
A goal takes a broad dream and makes it concrete.
Concrete means clear and real, not just I want a better life.
Right. More like, by July, I want to save $500, or this month, I will practice English 4 days a week.
Much less poetic, much more useful.
There are 3 simple kinds of goals that help here: outcome goals, performance goals, and process goals.
Stay with this. This sounds a little formal, but it is actually very practical.
An outcome goal is the result you want. A performance goal is the level of ability you want. A process goal is repeated behavior.
So for English, an outcome goal could be, I want to have a 10-minute conversation by summer.
Yes, a performance goal could be, I want to explain my job clearly and answer simple follow up questions.
And a process goal could be, I will listen for 15 minutes every morning and speak English 3 times a week.
Perfect. The dream gives energy. The goals turn that energy into a structure you can use.
And goals force choices which I personally find rude but necessary.
Necessary, yes. If you dream of better health, maybe the first goal is sleep, not everything at once.
And with money, maybe the first goal is paying off debt or building an emergency fund, not 12 goals in one weekend.
Exactly. If you try to attack everything at once, attention becomes messy.
People do this all the time. New week, new notebook, new apps, new rules, new personality.
That is what I would call a dramatic reset.
A dramatic reset is that huge emotional moment when you decide your whole life will change. By tonight,
Yes. It can feel exciting, but it often collapses because it is built for an ideal life, not a real one.
Wednesday destroys many dramatic resets.
It really does. Good goals are specific without becoming rigid.
Rigid means too stiff, too hard to bend when life changes.
Right. Real life includes work, illness, family needs, tiredness, and surprises. A good goal gives direction, but it still leaves room to adjust.
So the goal should fit your actual Tuesday, not your fantasy Tuesday.
Exactly. And then we get to the part that quietly carries most of the weight: small daily actions.
The humble heroes of the whole story.
Yes, a dream may belong to the next 5 years. A goal may belong to the next month. A daily action belongs to today.
What can I do today, even if I am busy, imperfect, and a little sleepy?
Exactly. Small daily actions matter because they reduce the distance between identity and behavior.
Translate that for normal people.
If you want to be a writer, writing 300 words before checking messages is behavior. It is evidence.
Evidence means proof. Not a nice idea, real proof.
Yes, if you want financial stability, maybe you write down your spending each evening and move a set amount into savings every payday.
So the new life starts as a pattern before it becomes a visible result.
Beautifully said.
I have a confession, though. I am very talented at motion.
Mm, I think many people are.
I can watch videos about exercise, compare notebooks, read about productivity, clean my desk, and somehow call that growth.
That is such a common trap. Motion feels like preparation. Action moves the goal forward.
Reading about running can help. Running is still more running.
Exactly. Buying notebooks for a future book is motion. Writing one page is action.
That one hit me personally.
Motion is not always useless. Sometimes you do need to learn or organize. But many people stay in motion because action includes risk.
In action, you might be bad. In public, very inconvenient.
True. Another difference that matters is intensity and repeatability.
Repeatable might be one of the most important words in this whole episode.
I think so too. Repeatable means small enough, realistic enough, and simple enough that you can do it again.
One huge weekend of effort feels impressive.
Yes, but one modest action repeated for months often changes more.
Like the language learner who studies for 5 hours once every 2 weeks because of guilt.
Compared with the learner who listens to 15 minutes of clear audio every morning, reviews a few useful phrases at lunch, and writes a short paragraph at night.
The second routine looks smaller on one day.
But it builds contact, memory, and confidence much more reliably.
The same is true for fitness, money, creative work, even relationships.
Yes, quiet progress can look almost invisible in one moment, but over time it becomes very strong.
Quiet progress. That phrase feels soft but solid.
It means slow, steady progress that may not look dramatic, but it is real.
So a daily action is like a tiny promise.
I love that. Yes, a tiny promise to your future self.
And every time you show up, you keep that promise.
Good phrase again. Show up means be there and do the thing even if your mood is not perfect.
Not every day needs movie music.
Exactly. But small actions work best when the system fits real life.
Not your superhero life, your real life. The one with dishes, commutes, messages, and low energy.
Yes, People often build routines for their best mood, their freest week, or their most ambitious self image.
Then they blame themselves when the plan falls apart.
A better question is, what helps the action start more easily?
This is where friction comes in.
Yes. Friction is a small barrier that makes an action harder to begin.
Like when your book is in another room, your shoes are not ready, and your phone is already glowing in your hand.
Exactly. Good systems reduce friction. Put the book where you sit. Prepare clothes the night before. Remove saved payment details if online shopping keeps hurting your budget.
Painful advice, correct advice.
And often the environment matters more than willpower. Motivation rises and falls. Structure can carry you when mood is low.
That is why study more is such a weak plan.
Yes. Imagine someone preparing for a professional exam while working full time. Study more must fight tiredness, chores, and distractions every evening.
Especially when the brain feels like soup.
So maybe the better system is 25 minutes every morning at the same table. Materials open. Timer on, phone away.
Small, plain, very effective.
Or think about a family that wants a calmer home. They may not need a dramatic reinvention.
They may need phones away from the dinner table, meals planned 2 days ahead, a short walk after dinner, and a regular bedtime.
Yes, small actions can change the atmosphere of a whole house.
Without a system, it is easy to drift.
Good word. Drift means slowly move away without making a clear decision.
Like, I sat down to practice English, and somehow I drifted into videos about kitchen storage.
Exactly. It happens to many people.
And this is also why we need feedback, not just hope.
Yes, feedback does not mean you need a giant spreadsheet and 3 colored pens.
Thank goodness.
It simply means your effort gives you information. You notice what is working, what is not, and what needs to change.
So a runner may track distance and recovery.
A person trying to save money may review spending once a week.
A writer may count pages, but also read them later and ask, are these pages actually getting better?
And an English learner might record a short voice note every month and notice, oh, my sentences are longer now, or I pause less.
That kind of feedback is encouraging because it makes progress visible.
There is another helpful paraphrases here, lag results and lead actions.
Okay, slow and simple, please.
Lag results are outcomes that appear later. Weight lost, money saved, a certificate earned, clients gained.
The result is lagging behind the work. It comes after.
Exactly. Lead actions are the behaviors that tend to create those results. Study sessions, practice calls, home-cooked meals, savings transfers.
So if you only stare at lag results, you may feel stuck for a long time.
Yes, but if you protect the lead actions, you stay close to what you can control today.
That is such a calmer way to think.
I agree. And feedback can refine the dream itself. Maybe someone dreams of opening a bakery, spends months testing products, and learns that customers love the bread but rarely buy the complicated cakes.
So the dream is still alive, but the business idea becomes more realistic.
Exactly, reality teaches. That is not failure. That is useful information.
Now we should talk about setbacks, because they always arrive.
They do. Illness, stress, money pressure, family emergencies, boredom, self-doubt. These are not strange exceptions.
They are part of the structure.
Yes, and this distinction matters. A broken plan is not the same as a broken person.
I want that on a wall somewhere.
Sometimes a plan no longer fits the season of life you are in.
Season here just means the current period of your life.
Right. Maybe you are caring for a sick child. Maybe work is intense. Maybe your body needs recovery. The old routine may stop working.
And then all or nothing thinking shows up.
Another important phrase, all or nothing thinking, means if I cannot do this perfectly, then I tell myself it no longer counts at all.
Like I missed 3 study sessions. So clearly I live on the sofa now and the future is over.
Exactly. But responsibility asks a better question. What can I still do now?
That question is small but powerful.
If your writing routine was 1,000 words, maybe it becomes 200 for a while. If evening study disappears, maybe you protect 10 minutes at lunch.
If running is not possible after an injury, Maybe walking and gentle movement keep the relationship alive.
Yes, the scale changes, but the connection stays.
That feels kinder and smarter.
Also, guilt and responsibility are not the same thing.
Say more.
Guilt looks backward and says, you failed. Responsibility looks at the present and says, what is still possible today?
Much more useful.
And resilience is not always dramatic toughness.
Resilience means the ability to recover and continue, right?
Exactly. Often resilience is just the ability to return. Missing one day matters less than missing the return.
Yes, missing the day is human. Missing the return is where people feel lost.
That is why I love the phrase, begin again.
Use that this week, everyone. Begin again.
You can get back on track quietly. No giant speech, no shame performance, just the next small action.
And get back on track means return to the path after you drift away.
Exactly. There is another gentle truth too. Daily action tests the dream.
Meaning the real work shows you whether the dream is durable.
Yes, sometimes you love the image of a future, but daily practice reveals what you truly care about.
Like the person who dreams of opening a restaurant, then discovers they actually love recipe development or teaching cooking classes more than managing a busy kitchen.
Exactly. Or someone dreams of being a public speaker, then learns they really enjoy teaching small groups, not performing on a big stage.
That is clarification, not failure.
Very much so. Persistence and stubbornness are different.
Persistence keeps going through difficulty. Stubbornness refuses to learn from reality.
Yes, persistence says, I still care and I can adjust. Stubbornness says, I will ignore all evidence because I am attached to the fantasy version.
Which, to be honest, many of us do at least once.
True, and long-term change is rarely a fully private project.
Right, we act like everything is about individual discipline, but relationships matter.
Support can take many forms. Sometimes it is direct accountability.
Accountability means someone helps you remember what you said you would do.
Yes, two friends who study together every Saturday, for example.
Or a partner who protects your class time instead of interrupting it.
Or a colleague who gives useful feedback. Or a group that helps you feel less alone in a difficult effort.
Even a good comment section can do that. Learners practicing together, cheering each other on.
Absolutely. Community can make consistent action easier.
And then there is identity, which sounds big, but it becomes simple in daily life.
Yes. Each small act is not only a step toward a result, it is also evidence of the kind of person you're becoming.
If you write regularly, writing stops feeling like a rare event and starts feeling normal.
If you save regularly, stability becomes something you practice, not just something you wish for.
But identity has to stay flexible enough to survive bad weeks.
Very important. Strong identity is not the belief that you never fail.
Strong identity is the belief that you return.
Exactly. That is why ordinary days matter so much. Real progress is usually not built in one grand decision.
It is built when what matters most gets connected to what you can actually do today.
Dreams widen the horizon,
Goals narrow the focus.
and small daily actions carry the weight.
Write that down, but maybe not in a brand new notebook you never open again.
Jake,
I know.
before we go, let's do our word tour.
Our little house ritual. Let's do it.
First, meaningful. Meaningful means important in a deep personal way. You can say, I want work that feels meaningful.
Second, concrete. Concrete means clear and specific. Try this. I need a concrete plan for this week.
Third, repeatable. Repeatable means small and realistic enough to do again. A 10-minute walk is repeatable for me.
Fourth, show up. Show up means be there and do the thing. I was tired, but I still showed up for practice.
Fifth, friction. Friction is a small barrier that makes action harder. If my book is hidden in a drawer, there is too much friction.
Sixth, drift. Drift means slowly move away without planning to. I meant to study, but I drifted into social media.
Seventh, lead action. A lead action is a behavior that helps create the result later. Reviewing 5 phrases every day is a lead action.
Eighth, quiet progress. We love this one. It means slow, steady progress that is real, even if it is not flashy. Use it like this: my English is quiet progress, but it is real.
Ninth, get back on track. This means return to the path after a break. Last week was messy, but today I am getting back on track.
10th, begin again. Simple and powerful. I missed a few days, so this morning I began again.
Keep those. Use them in your real life this week.
Especially quiet progress and begin again. Those two feel like medicine.
Before we leave, here is your tiny homework. Write 3 simple sentences in English.
Keep them short. No pressure.
Sentence 1. My dream is.
Sentence 2. This month my goal is.
Sentence 3. Tomorrow I will.
Make that last one small. Small enough that tired you can still do it.
And here's today's comment prompt. Write, my dream is, sysquenhalf trimij, and tomorrow I will. If you want, add the fake productive habit that usually steals your time.
We do read the comments, and it is a lovely place for learners to practice real English and help each other.
We are glad you are here. Truly, small still counts.
You are not the only one. You are not too late. You can begin again.
If this conversation helped you, you can subscribe and come back for the next one, or share it with someone who needs a softer way to move forward.
We'll be back next time with more real English through real life.
Take care of yourself, keep your tiny promise, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.